fine. I'm good.
Hey, everybody. I am back. This is day 3 of a time of greatness. My name is Rynette Upson-Bush. I am the CEO and founder of Next Level Chick, where my mantra is to push you on purpose for the purpose of walking in your purpose and your destiny. And I am also the creator of the Table of Greatness. And tonight I am back for day 3 here with my super friends. And we're going to have a conversation about greatness as we've done this entire 3 days. The first day, we talked about denying your greatness. The second day, we talked about barriers to greatness and all of this greatness talk. You may be wondering to yourself, do I have what it takes? Am I great? So that's what we're going to be talking about today. Are you great and the things it takes to be great? So I'm ready to dive in, dig in, and get this party started. So yes, we are ready. I'm looking for my guests. They are here. I don't see them on the screen. Here they are. Yes. I'm going to let everybody introduce themselves, but I'm going to tell you who they are first. We have Rebel JJ Lubin. We have Amber Nicole. We have Carol Davis. And we have Nasanya Rowell here today. These are my super friends. Thank y'all for your yes. And we are going to start the introductions. So if we could go ahead and get started, I'll start from Nasanya, Carol, Amber, JJ. All right, Nasanya, you are on. Unmute. Okay, go ahead.
Okay. Hi, everyone. I am Nasanya Rao. I am also called the Classy Lady to others who know me. I try to motivate and encourage women to let them know that their past does not have to define their destiny. I also love to encourage women over 40 especially, but anyone that can get something out of that message, that's great. I'm also a model with exposure. I've been doing that for many years. And I'm also now an author. I'm in the book with Rynette, as well as I have another book that I have been a part of. So I just love to help people in any way I can.
Okay, awesome. Thank you, Nasanya, for joining us. I appreciate it. If you could mute Nasanya. Okay. Now, Carol, could you go ahead and introduce yourself again?
Carol, yes. Listen. This is the encore. Okay, my name is Carol Davis, and I am the founder of Emerging Diamonds Widows Empowerment. That was birthed out of my experience. I am also an actress. I'm also a singer, and I guess I'm going to add that too, an author as well. It was an honor and a privilege to collaborate with you, Rynette, allow me to be in that book. And I'm so excited about being here again tonight.
Yes. Well, thank you so much for joining us. Amber.
Hey, people. My name is Amber Nicole. I am a trauma and confidence coach, a speaker, and an author as well. I did the Girl Get Up and Move book also with Rynette, and I also did another book with someone else, another book anthology. Pretty much what I do is a confidence coach. Like you said, I teach women to birth confidence within themselves because a lot of women think that they don't have confidence in themselves. So I teach them how to be the most confident. And that's a little bit about what I do.
All right. And lastly, last but not least, we have Rebel JJ Lubin.
Hey, everyone. So my name is Rebel Lubin, and for those who know me personally, call me JJ. All of my folks call me JJ. Don't ask me how I get JJ out of Rebel and Lubin, R and L. Please do not ask me, but that's just been a nickname. I'm a recent graduate of the University of Florida, and I am now in my last year at Yale Divinity School. I'm right now a full-time student, but there's a ton of things in the slow cooker right now. So to be continued with a couple of things that I'm working on.
All right. So y'all can see all week long, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, our guests have been fire. And so I'm just so excited to start off this conversation. As you know, we are here talking about a time of greatness because we do have on December 5th, the Table of Greatness coming up. And that Table of Greatness is a space and a place for you to sit and get yourself prepared to leave out of 2020. We're not about to leave out of 2020 empty. It's not going down like that. We're going to leave out of 2020 full, ready to go, ready to step into 2021 on fire and take over. So if you thought it was over, I'm here to let you know right now, right here, right now, it ain't over. We still have work to do. So I want you all to get your tickets to the Table of Greatness because this thing is going to be fire. We have 7 speakers. We have 2 performers. And that day is going to be like seriously a day of just inspiration, motivation, intention setting, goal setting, totally getting yourself together for 2021. You're going to have a plan. So when you step into 2021, when stuff come against that plan and it don't look like what you have written down, you know to stay away from it. So we're going to talk about that tonight. Our first night, we talked about, like I said, denying your greatness. A lot of people know you have greatness on you, but you've denied it. But we're not going to do that anymore. And so we talked about, instead of denying that greatness, reclaiming that greatness. That means you had to restore, you energized, you conquered, let go, aim, initiate, and manifest it. That's what reclaim stood for. And then on top of that, last night, we talked about the barriers to greatness. And many times because of those barriers, instead of fighting through, people quit. They quit, they give up, and they throw in the towel. And a lot of times when you throw in the towel, it's right before your breakthrough. So we're not going to do that. So tonight, we're going to talk about those traits and those things that make you great. You may be sitting to yourself saying, how do I even know that I have this in me? Well, you do. You have what you need. It's already inside of you. And this is the great thing. After this series, I've been talking about this workbook. You're going to get a workbook that is going to go over the information that we've had over these 3 days. You're going to be able to go to that work, answer questions, and start preparing yourself to really walk in that greatness that you deserve. It is not only what you deserve, but it is what you demand. Your greatness shall come forth, but you have to make it happen. So with that being said, I'm going to start off with Carol. She has attended the Table of Greatness, and actually she was at the first one. So we want to hear your thoughts on the Table of Greatness, and then we're going to, and a little bit about your story, and then we're going to go up and hear from everybody, and then we're going to start a conversation.
All right. Awesome. Well, listen, when the Table of Greatness first started, as Rynette said, I was at the first one. When I attended there, I had recently lost my husband, maybe like a couple of years or so. And I was at a point of, I was not only devastated, but I was depressed. I was trying to find some direction in my life. And when Rynette talked about the Table of Greatness, I said, okay, well, I attended. In attending the Table of Greatness, that's why it is so important. I encourage everybody that can to go ahead and get the tickets, because at the Table of Greatness, there was an assignment that was given to us to write down our goals. And like I said, I was going through my time of grieving and different things like that. But when I sat down and I started writing out my goals, now I was always passionate about the arts. And I started writing down my goals, and I said, well, one of the things is that, since I was trying to rediscover myself, was to go back into acting. I didn't know how, I didn't know when or how that was going to be accomplished, but I knew that that was one of the goals that I put in place. I wanted to perform again. And fast forward that after that year ended and going into the next year, everything that I wrote down on that paper at the table of greatness, it came through. Because guess what? After when I had written that I wanted to go back into acting, the following year there was an audition. And I had told Rynette about it. I said, well, you know, there's this audition that I want to go to, but then lo and behold, I had gotten sick and strep throat and all of that. And I wasn't going to go. But then Rynette reminded me, no, this is your time. And then I had to remember myself, this is what I had written down at the table of greatness. So even though I was sick, I went to the audition. Just to make a long story short, I went to the audition and I landed the part. And I was like, oh my God, you know. And then after I landed the part, I think that was in, that was Dreamgirls. And then after Dreamgirls, then I landed another part in the musical called Annie. Remember, this is what I had written down at the table of greatness. And then after Annie, I had landed another part in The Wiz. And it just kept going and going and going and going. And even today now, I'm preparing to do a TV episode. But my point is that when you go to the table of greatness and you get around people with like-minded, that they are encouraged and inspired to write down their goals and to be around like-minded people, and you get that plan set, like how Rynette's talking about, you write out that goal, that goal sheet or that blueprint. And then when you're moving forward, and then as you're looking at your goals, you start to accomplish things. And when things happen in life and it kind of sets you back, you look at your goal sheet and say, I remember I wrote this down. And so I am so thankful that I was able to attend the table of greatness that first year, because ever since then, I've been going on ever since. And I'm grateful for that. So get your tickets so you can get your life right.
Okay. Awesome. Yes, the table of greatness really has changed lives. And you will hear me say over and over, everybody that sat at the table of greatness, their life is different today. You cannot sit at that table and come in one way and not go out another. You're stepping into a whole new space and place of greatness, and it takes some work. And so that's why we're inviting you to sit, to get around, to collaborate and initiate your greatness. You got to collaborate with the right people, initiate that faith and activate and get ready for the greatness. So we're going to move from Carol. Thank you, Carol. On to Nasanya. She also sat at the table of greatness. And so I'm going to let her talk to you about that as well.
Oh my goodness. The table of greatness. My story is different than Carol's. Everyone's probably is, but I remember last year being in such a financial crunch. And first of all, being around Rynette, you just don't necessarily focus on what you don't have. You focus on what you can do. And I remember thinking last year, I'm going to the table of greatness. I really decided literally 3 weeks before, and it all kind of fell in place. You know, I was budget, but I was at the table of greatness and I went in, and it is just such an amazing experience because first of all, the table was beautiful. It's not just called table of greatness. It was this big, elaborate, beautiful table. The food was amazing. The women were all dressed so beautifully and elegantly. I will post pictures of that later from last year so you can see mine. But more than anything, just like she said, is being surrounded by like-minded people changes the way you think, because going in there, doing the work, doing the exercises, listening to the speakers, you know, it was past just a goal. I think the thing that I've obtained from being a part of Next Level Chicks and being at the table of greatness is I have a vision for my life in a way that I never had a vision for my life before. And being around these women, I saw other women with visions for their lives and believed in the possibilities that presented themselves in a way that I never had before. I was around other women uplifting me, encouraging me. I was listening to their stories. I was doing the work and putting plans down, like Carol was saying. And when I came back home, no matter what did or didn't happen, I didn't stay stuck in that place the way I did. I didn't get emotional and get upset and think, I can't do this. I can't have that. I thought I can do this. I can have that. Even though I don't see it yet, I can have this. And since then, I've come home and I've been a part of 2 books. I've never written in my life. I never believed that I could write, even though I would get compliments on my motivational pieces that I put out. I never believed I could write, but being at the table of greatness, being a part of uplifting myself, being around like-minded women, being around encouraging people who push you and support you and bring out a belief in yourself that maybe you didn't have. You know, I am now a 2-time author, and I am in the process of putting together one of my first classes to teach women. I never knew how to do that. I never believed in doing that, but I always wanted to do that. So that's something I'm going to be doing going forward, you know. And I still model. I haven't in a while, but I don't let that bother me. I don't think, oh, I don't compare myself to other people. That's a part of being great. My greatness, I don't need to compare my greatness to what someone else is doing. So it just changes your vision. It changes your life. It's a beautiful opportunity. If you want to go to the next level, if you want to surpass where you've been at and see where you can be, I encourage you to come to the table of greatness. I encourage you to click on the link and be a part of the table of greatness. You will not be disappointed.
Oh, yes. And Sonia, thank you for that. And you said, you know, the food was really good. The table was beautiful. And even though this is virtual, that doesn't mean anything is going to change, because at the table of greatness this year, we're still going to wear our red. We have a table setting contest. So the table is going to be, you set your own table, because at the table of greatness, you come in and learn how to build your own table so that you can go to your next level, go to your next dimension, and change your whole life. So we're going to set the table real pretty. We're going to have our red on, okay? And we're going to have, during lunch, we're going to eat lunch right on the screen, what's on your plate. So we'll see, you know, you could have you a shrimp dinner fish, baby. You could have you a steak dinner. You have you some lobster, some filet mignon, whatever you choose. If you want a sandwich, you could have that too. Some soup, you could have that too. But we'll be still eating lunch and brunching and doing all of that. So we'll take a 10-minute break. You get your plate together and you come back and you sit at the table. And we're going to listen to some elegant music and do some, I can't tell y'all all the fun stuff, but it's going to be good. It's going to be real good. So get your tickets. Next, we have Amber, Nicole, and this lady right here. Oh, wow. She has a story to tell. And Amber is one of our speakers at the table of greatness. She's also one of the authors, as she said, in The Girl Get Up and Move. And she did her other book as well with Coach Cheryl. So, I mean, like, she has it going on. I'm going to let her tell her own story.
Hey, yes. So while I have not been a part of the Table of Greatness, what I do know is I know Rynette, and me being around her, she has been the epitome of what a boss chick is. And that's what most women want to be, right? You want to walk around with confidence. You want to be a boss, because being a boss is sexy, right? So I know, being with Rynette, that she always brings the best out of people. So just being around her enough lets me know how amazing that the Table of Greatness would be. So like everyone else said, yes, I do think I know you need to go ahead and get your tickets and sign up for this. But, you know, because I realize, like, with women, a lot of things that we deal with is unhealed trauma and unhealed things that we think we healed from it, but we have not. So sitting at the Table of Greatness will teach you, like, wow, there's a lot of women around me that's going to make me level up, not just because I want to, but because when you're around women that's doing things, when you're around women that's doing better and not in your normal negative environment, it makes you want to grow. It makes you want to be better. It makes you want to be like, you know what? I'm not doing enough. I need to do a little bit better. Why am I still stuck in this same space that happened 10 years ago, that happened 5 years ago, when I'm around all these women who have too been through similar situations or too been through traumatic situations, but yet they did not let that that traumatic situation, keep them down. Here's the thing. Everybody's going to go through trauma, but you're not supposed to sit there. But what you need to do is something different than you always done. That's why you need to be at the table of greatness, because you may not have been at the right classes. You may have not took the right workshops, or maybe you haven't done nothing and you just been sitting in it thinking you don't need that. Well, let me tell you, you do need to be at the table of greatness. You do need to be around women that's going to push you into your purpose, because we all have a purpose, and it is important that we are serving God properly, right? And it is important that we are walking in our purpose, because when you walk in your purpose, you smile a little bit more, you got a little bit more peace of mind, right? You a little more happy, you make more money. Here's the thing, you make more money because you are happier. You're happier in the position that you in, or you move to a position that you like better. You have to start getting around different people. You have to be around women that are great. You have to be around people who are doing things that you're not doing. So look at the 5 people that you're around. If they're not where you want to be at, I'm going to tell you to go ahead and sit at the table of greatness so that you can get around women that's doing the type of thing that you want to do. Okay?
Hey, 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 y'all heard Amber, and that is so true. You have to get that right circle, because when you're not around the right people, then the right things just don't happen for you. So it's really, really of the utmost importance that you do get around the table, you do get around like-minded people so that you can move forward. And that's what it's all about. I had to change my circle to change life. Used to be real negative, not doing the right things, and I always wanted more. We always want more, but in order to get more, you have to do more. And when I was trying to do more, I would always hear I'm doing too much, and I think I'm this and I'm. But see, the problem is when people start telling you that you're doing too much, the problem is they aren't doing enough. So you got to get around those people that are doing things and going where you want to go. So that's a reason why you need to choose to sit at the table of greatness. You will thank yourself, I promise you. So now, thank you, Amber. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Now we are going to hear from Rebecca. I'm going to just call you JJ, okay? I ain't even going to play this name right here. But we're going to hear from JJ, and he's going to tell us some things about himself, and then I have a spiel to say about everybody that has spoken, all my super friends that's on here tonight.
Everybody that's tuned in into this broadcast right now, and you all heard from one of the speakers who will be there, and Amber, and y'all just got a little bit of that fire just by listening in this broadcast. So that just says a lot about what's in store for the table of greatness, as well as the speakers and Carol and Nasanya, who also shared an experience there, shared their testimonies and their experiences at the table of greatness. Look, y'all ought to be checking that out. I'm upset that I don't have a version for men or anything like that of the table of greatness.
Men can come.
But men are invited as well. But I mean, it seems like the sisters there certainly have something special for sure at the table of greatness. But just a little bit about myself, man. I'm a first generation college student. I always envisioned myself playing sports. I think everybody that attended any university or was successful in a positive way, like that means that they weren't necessarily selling drugs, they weren't rapping or whatever, just the typical stereotypes that would fit the description of somebody like me growing up in the inner city. So I grew up without my parents. My mother passed away when I was young, and I was raised by my sister, who you all will also hear from. This is a quick plug at the table of greatness as well. She will be performing. She is a great songwriter, and I don't want to go in too much, but you all are in for a treat. So she ended up taking custody of myself and my 3 other siblings after my mother passed away. So she was 24 at the time, and she took me in. I'm 11 years old, and you have another 13 and a 14-year-old and an 8-year-old. And she just, she did the best that she could. She took care of us, and I kind of grew up and was fascinated by, those I saw a part of street fraternities, sort of say. And I kind of was like, okay, I want to do that. I gone to school not really caring about anything or anybody. And then I messed around and ran into Miss Rynette, as well as Miss Carol, who's on this call. And I caught myself having an attitude after getting into trouble with some of my teachers, and they all kind of looked at me like, "What's up with this kid?" You know, they weren't just ready to suspend me and kick me out of school or anything, but they saw something in me, and what that was greatness. That's something I didn't see in myself, because anybody that I saw who were great, according to whatever standard that I had in my mind, they utilized sports, or they were ball players, or they were trappers. They was out in the streets, but they saw a different form of greatness that was deep within me that I didn't even know that was, living in me. I had no clue. I was just like, well, because everything around me told me otherwise. Everything told me, oh, you don't have a father, you don't have a mother, then you'll be in prison by the time you're 17, or by the time you're 16. I kind of bought into that narrative and believed that narrative. But I think just to kind of keep this kind of succinct and short, man, you kind of fast forward, you have people like Carol, you have people like Rynette, who's speaking life into me in some of my darkest times, some of the and some of the times where I just felt like, man, the heck with all of this. Like, F all of it, forget school, forget you, and forget you. I just didn't care about anything at all. I had to learn to first care about myself, and that kind of changed the trajectory. And you fast forward, a graduate, and graduated on time from the University of Florida, was a Hall of Famer there as a student activist, as well as in student government. And now I have pretty much a full ride scholarship here at Yale. I'm in Connecticut now, and my story is just beginning right now. I think it's still in the works. God is still woven and placing pieces together, while also revealing things about myself, revealing more truths about myself. And God often, he would kind of reveal some things, and then you have to bump your head, and you have to get up and fall, and he's like to make you go through that same thing until you get it, until you deal with some of those fears that you've inherited when you were young, or you deal with some of those insecurities that you never even knew that was sitting dormant. And that's kind of the process that I've been in, and just being around again Carol and Rynette, and still hearing from them and having their words of encouragement has also been continuously propelling me as I move forward.
All right. That is just so awesome. So you've heard from each and every one of them, and talk about greatness, talk about perseverance, talk about staying the course. And that's what it's about. So when you think about your own greatness, what do I need? What does it take to be great? Do I really have it? And the answer is yes. You already have everything inside of you that you need to be great. Last night we talked about God being the master, and we're a piece of him. So that means that we're a masterpiece. So definitely we already have greatness in us. It's just we have to pull it out. We have to hone those things so that we can step into our greatness. So one of the people that I really love and respect and admire, and I think that he just was such a great role model, because when we talk about greatness, a lot of people think they're great because maybe they're famous, or maybe because they're the loudest, or this or that. That does not make you great. It's certain traits that make you great. It's a difference between being famous and being great. And so we have to recognize some things that it takes to be great. And one of those things, and this is according to Nelson Mandela, like I said, he is somebody I really love and respected, and the things he went through. If somebody is great, he was one of those great people. So purposefulness is a sign of greatness. Self-confidence, boldness, optimism, forgiveness, courage, determination, humility, self-reflection, and love. Those are the 10 things that he said that made him great, and those are required for greatness. And everybody will probably have something different. But one thing about being great is that you must understand that it's bigger than you. It's bigger than you. You must be able to serve others. You must be able to make a difference. You must be able to make an impact in a positive way. Like I said, we know a lot of famous people, but what impact are they making? Are they bringing drama? Are they bringing foolishness? Or are they impacting? Are they changing lives? Are they bringing something positive? So as we get into this conversation, I want to know what you all think about what traits do you have that have brought out your greatness? And we can start with JJ.
Yeah, I think that's a tough question, but I think one of the central traits of my greatness, my personal greatness, is compassion. I think you have a ton of people who, whether it's job interviews, whether it's somebody who's just sharing things about themselves in an icebreaker, they'll say, "Well, I'm passionate. Well, I'm passionate about this. I'm passionate about that." And I know that passion is an energy that can propel you to do anything. I mean, even the most craziest things at the expense of other people in order for you to get your leg up. But I think compassion, you're cognizant of people outside of you. You're cognizant of those who don't necessarily have your story, and somebody that you necessarily won't even talk to on a regular basis, but you can see them and you identify them and you recognize their existence as brothers and sisters, right? And I think as I consider the moment that I think I had the greatest breakthrough in my personal life was I stopped playing sports to help provide for my siblings, specifically my sister, pay bills. And I was like, basketball and football, one of these are going to be the moneymaker. One of these is going to get me to college. I'm gonna be able to go to the league, just dreaming, the typical black boy from the hood dream, right? And I'm like, okay, well, I'm gonna do that. And you get home and then the electricity is off. And it's like, dang, okay. And then you go back to school, you go to football practice, you're tired, you're drained from the sun beating down on you, you get home and the light's still off. And you open the refrigerator, food is molding and nothing to eat, none of that. And it's just like, oh my goodness. I either keep on playing sports or I go and do something about this. And I decided to get a job at the premium outlets. And after getting a job, I just pretty much did a huge door just shut in my face that says, essentially said, well, you're not going to college. That scout that was just looking at you last week and was like, oh, Gravel, we love your size. We love what we're seeing in your film. That is gone out the window because I had to take initiative to help provide, because at the time, playing football or playing basketball wasn't, keeping the lights on at all. So I had to kind of make that decision to help support myself as well as my family. But in the process of doing that, I had more time to get involved on my campus. I've graduated from Oak Ridge High School, and I was able to get more involved at Oak Ridge. And I started a food drive for homeless people around the holidays, actually around this time in November. It was early November. In a student government office. But it wasn't just a food drive that was for homeless people that you might see out on the streets, or homeless people that, on OBT or just on a corner or homeless shelters downtown. But it was for the homeless people that was on campus. It was for the students. At the time, there were over 88 students who were registered homeless. I mean, these people that you see like wearing beat up clothes or no shoes or anything like that. It was the same people with backpacks right next to me in the classroom who were registered homeless, right? Who receiving special assistance from Oak Ridge and from the administration there. And I was like, well, why are we casting such a wide net all the way out there when it's like our neighbors right here who are in need? So I started this food drive, and shortly after embarking on that journey, it was captured in a newspaper article, and the people from all over Florida wanted to sew into this program and sew into whatever it was that we were doing at Oak Ridge through our student government for homeless students on campus. And after making the news, there was somebody who read it, who read the article and was like, that guy's compassion. They shared a little bit of my story, the fact that my own family at the time, we weren't going to have a holiday dinner. We weren't going to have a Thanksgiving because we couldn't afford it at the time. But I wasn't necessarily worried about my situation. I just knew I at least had somewhere to stay. I had a roof over my head, but these people won't have a dinner nor a stable roof under their head. Some are living in some of the motels and bouncing from night to night, or even in cars. And I was like, man, we ought to do something for them. And it was a guy who was like, well, that because of that compassion right there, the fact that this dude wasn't worried about himself. And this is nothing that I never thought it was special. I just was like, I would want the same for myself. So why not do it for somebody else? And as a result of that compassion, somebody created an entire scholarship program after me. It's called the Elevation Scholars Program now. They're all in Orlando, specifically at the Title I schools. It's Evans, Jones, Oak Ridge, Colonial High School, and a few others. And start off with one scholar, that's me, helping me throughout the entire application and application process, the personal letters, all of that, the college visits, all of that was paid for. I started with one, and now we're well over 60 students who's involved in this program. Everybody's has graduated on time. So I think just me diving into my personal story and seeing some of the traits that I just had early on that I didn't know was great. I just thought this is what you do. You know, you help out your neighbor the best way that you can, but not knowing that would be the starter of an entire, or that would be the beginning, the genesis of an entire scholarship program that would support students who are high performing, but not given the same opportunities to dream outside of the confines of using sports to get to someone, or using drugs in order to be successful, but being able to look deep within themselves and to know that other people see something in them, and that they too can see that within themselves as well, so long as they're willing to. So I think the essential trait for me personally has been compassion. That anybody who would claim to be great, if they don't have compassion, then I think they're only great in their own minds.
Wow, 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 wow. Compassion. And that's true compassion, to be able to step up and do a food drive for somebody else when you don't even have food in your own house and you don't have electricity. And see, what happens is what you do for others, God will do for you. Behind him doing that, a whole scholarship, he got a scholarship, a full ride. He quit his sports so that he could help his family. And he turned this compassion turned into a whole scholarship to help children today. And that's been going on now for, I think, since 2013, if I'm not mistaken.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Hundreds of students have been helped because he decided to have compassion. That's truly greatness. When you think about yourselves, those people in the audience, what are you thinking? What words are you thinking when you think about your greatness? What traits do you have? What is it inside of you that makes you great? These are the things we have to focus on. Many times we focus on what we don't have, what's not happening, focusing on our circumstances when we need to focus forward. We need to also focus on the inside, because it starts from the inside, from within. So that was an awesome story. Let's go ahead and go to Carol. Give us your trait for greatness that you think, trait that you have.
Well, I think that my trait also is being compassionate, and because, let me give you a prime example. Because of the widowhood journey that I'm on, it helped to birth the Widows Empowerment Organization that I have, because I know the things that I went through, as a widow, and my heart just goes out to other individuals who've experienced that same thing. And so, but I wanted to take it a little bit further. If I know how I'm feeling, then I know that, and then God has brought me to where I am now, then I wanted to be able to share that same thing with other widows, that they can be able to make it. So I think having a compassion for what you do, being great, you have to have compassion about what you're doing. Because if you don't, then it's not going to work. Plain and simple. Being compassionate. That's one of my traits.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. And with that compassion, as both of them spoke, can y'all hear me? Okay. As they both spoke, you see the compassion came out of their pain. And that's what happens with greatness. Usually greatness is birthed from pain. Greatness does not come from being comfortable. And so if you're feeling uncomfortable, if you're feeling like things are not happening for you, if you're feeling kind of like maybe it's not for me, that's the sign that it is for you. When you're going through some things and you can step out and still help people, like I said, a lot of things that happen in your process, in your journey of greatness, are birthed from your pain. I don't really know any greatness that has come from somebody having just a great thing happening. Mm-hmm. Now, you've been through something in order to get to that greatness. And so I want to go ahead and Sonia, give us your story. I'm sorry, not your story, your trait. Your trait. What do you feel your biggest trait is in reference to greatness?
I guess it's similar to theirs. I don't personally consider myself a compassionate person. That sounds kind of bad. But I get told a lot that I am. I definitely care. Most of my life, my jobs have been centered around helping other people. And one thing, this is going to sound kind of crazy, but I've always been rejected and overlooked and abandoned. And, you know, kind of like JJ said about wanting, you know, I didn't come from any prized background. You know, I came from a single mother. My dad was in the picture, but young. And long story short, I wanted to have more, but I didn't know how to have more because I never wanted to do certain things for a living. So I modeled when I was younger, and I tried to get into my dream type of job, and it never worked out. And every part of my life, I always felt rejected, overlooked, abandoned. And so God literally told me when I got saved to use what the devil meant for bad for good, and to use my looks for him now instead of all the bad I had used it for growing up. And so I've always tried to help different people, different women feel better about themselves, increase their self-awareness, their self-esteem, their self-respect, their confidence. And I've always tried to help, you know, just be aware of people, like to say kind words, to smile at people. You know, I fail a lot, but I try to be really aware of that to uplift people and make them feel better than they do. And even with some people, it is just even a smile. And I try to just be very aware that self-awareness is something, I guess that would be my word, because I'm aware of other people because of how I was treated, because I've been mistreated, because I've been overlooked, because I've been treated like I have no value. I try to not do that to other people, and I try to make them see that they do have value, even if that is not someone I'm trying to have in my life on some deep level. You know, when some people will come to work, not always, they could be dirty or look homeless, and I would make a point to call them sir, things like that, just because I know that they probably didn't get talked to like that very often. So that's kind of really my thing, is I try to care. I try to show people respect, even if I don't agree with something or like something. I still try to be kind. But yeah, I'm not always there, but I definitely try, and I believe that's something that God has really birthed in me and strengthened in me, because that's definitely not the person that I used to be pre being saved. But yeah, I like to encourage, motivate, help, be kind to people. And I had to be self-aware first and not like the way people treated me, not like some of the things that happened to me, so that I didn't project those on to other people. And I guess that's a choice, because like you said, with a lot of famous people, they don't care how they treat people. They get a certain level of popularity and fame, and they use it in an abusive way instead of in a positive way.
Oh, yes, that was good. That was good. And self-awareness, that's another great trait. And everybody will have different traits that, you know, bring them to their greatness. And her rejection and being overlooked, and many times, you know, rejection really makes you feel bad. But sometimes that rejection is for our protection, and that rejection helps us to be, like she said, self-aware, because you know how you felt when that thing happened to you. So you use that. Again, there's another situation of pain that turned into purpose. And so now and that's very good how you said when people come in, you know, and they're looking dirty, scruffy, all that kind of stuff, and saying, hello, sir, how are you? Because most people gonna overlook them, treat them like crap. Come on, hurry up, you know, and not really give them the respect. Even though you don't know their situation, you don't know what's going on. And so self-awareness, that is an awesome, awesome trait. Again, those people in the audience, think about it. You put some of those comments of what trait you have that brings out your greatness. While you're doing that, let's go to Amber. What trait do you have that the number one trait that you feel makes you great or brings out your greatness?
So I like everyone else. I'm gonna go with personally for me, the one trait that really helped me was courage, because there was a lot of situations that I was in that I did not have the courage to move out of. It took courage to move out of my domestic violence situation I was in. It took courage for me to move all the way across the country from Minnesota to Florida. It took courage for me to birth my business that I have right now, because I know a lot of times it's hard to want to start a business because you don't know if it's going to be great. You don't know if you're going to get the results out of it that you wanted. So I had to be courageous and knowing that, you know what, even if I'm not getting what I need right now, I know that I'm going to eventually get it, but I have to have the courage to keep pushing through every single time I have a drawback. Every single time something happens to me, I have to have the courage to get up and keep on pushing and keep on fighting, because if I don't have that, I'm going to sit back, I'm going to let fear stop me. I'm like, you know what, I'm not good enough. I can't do this. This isn't working for me. I don't know how. I'm gonna have all these excuses on why I can't. Fear is gonna literally hinder me from doing anything. So I have to have the courage to get up and fight every single day when things aren't going the way I think they should go. Courage still keeps me pushing and fighting everything that I'm doing every single day.
Yes, courage. That is one of the traits that I read off at first. And that's so necessary. That is so necessary. And so as you have these traits, you really have to make up in your mind and decide that I refuse to lose. I refuse to lose. But one of the great things about knowing and reaching your greatness, I think, and this is my thing, you have to understand or have faith in a higher power. I mean, because my love for God, my trust for God, my faith in God, that's what really helps me to stand strong. Because on your way to greatness, on your way to trying to go to the next level, to the next dimension, you're going to have some obstacles. You're going to have some things that are going to happen to you. And so if you don't have that faith, if you don't have that higher power, if you don't have that something to look up to, how do you get up if you don't have anybody to look up to help you to stand up and continue this journey? So as you have that higher power and God is there, you know, giving you the strength, sending you those divine connections, helping you to get around the right people and helping you and giving you that story so that you can move on. Y'all want to expound on that and talk about like how your higher power has helped you, how you decided to refuse to lose, how do you continue to get back up even though these obstacles come? What is it? Let's talk about that. And anybody can take the floor. Can y'all hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Yeah, so I would say for me, it was prayer and meditation that helped me in this moment and to be who I am today. If I didn't have prayer and meditation, I would be crazy. First off, I wouldn't even be able to have a peace of mind because I would be going crazy every time something goes on. So it has always been. Once I turned my life over to God, I realized that is my source. That is where I get my confidence from. That is where my greatness was birthed, because He birthed me. He said that when I formed you, I knew who you were before you formed your mother's womb. So He knew who I was. So it was Him who I had to turn to be like, God, what are you doing? What do you need for me to do? What is my purpose? Who am I in this earth? Because once I figured out who He wanted me to be, I became so confident in who I am. Like, no one can tell me nothing. Whatever's happening on social media, whatever negative feedback I get from people, I'm okay with who I am because God tells me who I am every day. I don't care what the outside noise is. So you need God, you need that higher source, because it is Him that shows you what your purpose is in life.
Amen.
Amen. Amen. I mean, no matter what, when you're going through negativity, even when people aren't there, God is there. Who wants to go next? Somebody take the floor.
Okay, well, I'll go ahead on just to piggyback off of what Amber said. It's very important that we do connect to God, to connect to that higher power. And I'm reminded that one day when I was having my quote unquote pity party within myself, and I was just saying, oh my God, what am I going to do? I mean, I was still kind of like, grieving, the loss of my husband. And every now and then, you still have those moments. But I remember specifically this one day when I was really going through, and then it was just like God just spoke to me, and He said that I died for you, that you might live. So I want you to live, and that thing hit me so hard. It's like, oh my God, He placed us here on this earth. We all have a reason and a purpose for being here. We're just not here just by happenstance. We were created by Him to fulfill a purpose and a destiny. No matter what happens in our life, no matter what goes on, we are here for a reason. So I had to get my mind right and understand that even though my husband is gone, or whatever, I have to understand that God has me here. I had to get myself together. I had to. I had to survive. I had to make it. I could not afford to stay stuck in a corner and wither my life away. For what? When God gave me life, when He died for me that I might live, and I'm going to walk around broke down, busted, and disgusted? For what? Every day that He wakes me up is an opportunity to embrace life and life to the fullest. Yes, I'll still have my moments, but at the same time, I have to take advantage of life. And that's what I'm going to do. So that's what gives me that motivation that I need. When He reminded me, I died that you might live. So I want you to live.
Amen. 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 Want us to live. And you know what? That's how you get to your greatness, by knowing that's higher power. Like she said, on your way to greatness, you heard her say she was having her quote unquote pity party. And on your way to greatness, there will be times where you feel like you want to give up, times where you want to throw in the towel, times where you just say, I'm not doing this no more. I don't care what, when, how, who. But when you have that higher power to go to, that's somebody that's gonna be there when nobody else is there, when everybody sleep at 2, 3, 4, 5 a.m. in the morning, and higher power is what you go to continue to move towards the greatness that you were purposed for. And so that was really, really good. So if you have sat in this type of pity party and felt like, oh my God, it's not for me, nobody's responding, nobody's looking, I'm being overlooked, every door is closing in my face. No, that means that you're supposed to continue. That's where that boldness, that confidence, that determination, all of those things, that persistence, that's where it comes in. And you know where you get that from? Your higher power. Amen. So if you're going to press towards the mark of the higher calling, you need to have a higher power. And that's so
Amen.
Oh yeah. So this is my next question. A lot of people, when they think about greatness and where they're going, what they want to do, whether they're an entrepreneur, whether you are in a career, no matter what, you know what people tie greatness to? Money. Mm-hmm. They think that money is it. That's how it's all about the money. And so money is not a trait to get you to greatness. It's really not. So I just have to explain that, because a lot of people, why do you want to be great? Because I can get some money, because it's going to make me powerful and I'll be able to do what I want to do like I said, it's got to be bigger than you. And it has got to be about more than money. So if you tie your greatness to money, then what happens if you make all this money and the money runs out? Where's the greatness? When you don't make the money and you are on your way, where's the motivation? Where's the inspiration? If it's all about money. Have y'all seen that where people tie greatness to money?
Mm-hmm.
Let's
Yeah.
talk about it.
I think with the greatness. Oh, sorry, let Carol talk. Go ahead.
No. Go ahead.
Well, I feel like that's the same thing with like abundance. When people say abundance, they say, "Oh, I have abundance." That means I have money. Well, no, that's not what God said. Abundance. Abundance is love, joy, peace, health, wealth, purpose. All of that is abundance and overflow of abundance. So when one of you lose one of those, you lose wealth. You still have joy, peace, purpose. Like you still have all those others to be able to tie on to. So this is the reason why millionaires commit suicide every day. You hear that all the time. I've seen it all the time. Well, we all say, well, how is it that you killed yourself? You have everything you could possibly want. All this materialistic stuff. You got a nice car, you got a nice house, but they didn't have peace in their soul. They didn't have joy. Maybe they were actors, but maybe acting was their purpose. They just did it because they was just good at it, or maybe they had more with inside of them. So they didn't have the complete abundance. They just had one part of that. Abundance is having all of that. So when one thing goes wrong, you still have something to tie yourself to, so that you can still keep walking the purpose, and still be happy and joyful every single day. The money's gonna come, but what you don't understand is the money comes when you are walking in purpose, when you have joy, when you have peace, when you're able to be resilient and keep on going. If you only chasing money, money gonna keep on running from you because you steady chasing it and it's gonna keep on going.
Absolutely. Yep. And it's gonna keep running away from you. If you make that money more important than your greatness and more important than the higher power up above, your money gonna. JJ?
Yeah, no, I think I just thought of this quote, man, just as you kind of shared that says, man, some people are so poor, all they have is money.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah.
That was extremely profound for me, because I've always, in our society, the world just in general tells you what beauty looks like. It tells you what greatness looks like. It tells you what success looks like, and it's always to material things. Everything tells you to look outward. Everything tells you to look outward. Like, if you want to be great, you got to have this much money. You got to have, this much commas or whatever behind your name. And people begin to measure themselves. They begin to really measure yourself. And Auntie, as you said, I call Rynette Auntie, if y'all didn't know. So it's just normalcy for me. So I'm just like, call you Auntie. So anyways, but like you said, some people really define themselves by that. But when that money runs out, it's like, well, where's your greatness? And that's, cause people to, commit suicide, things of that nature, and cause people to, after they file for bankruptcy, they're like, oh my gosh, like my world is over now. And it's like, no, that's not the case. It's like your greatness is inside of you. Do you not know that Jesus, whether you're a theist or not, whether you're a believer or not, this person who really lived and really laid a blueprint out for so many people, this man he was born in the hood. He was born next to cow manure in a manger. He was born in the projects of Nazareth, right? When they said, well, can anything good come out of Nazareth? It was one of those people that's like, what? Like, dude, you poor. You don't have anything. You have no possessions. Where's your crown? It was just like, it's possessions. Bob Marley was like, it's the possessions that make you rich. He said, I don't have those kind of riches. Jesus walked with confidence, walked with great courage, as he was aware that people wanted to take his life, but he still lived with courage. And that's something that was alluded to earlier today, with courage and boldness and fearlessness, and with the God-given purpose. But everybody else is looking on the outside, but that God-given purpose is what's on the inside. And that's something that people don't take the time out to actually look at and face, because some of that stuff is extremely difficult. Because on the other side of dealing with your insecurities, and on the other side of dealing with your fears, and on the other side of dealing with your pain is great purpose. But a lot of people don't really want to deal with that. So they would just go ahead and try to cover up their insecurities with designer fashion. They try to tell you how broke you are, how much money they have, or try to project some of their own fears and pain onto you, you know, and try to pull you down. And it's just like, nah, it's the other way around, dude. Like, you can have it all. And as again mentioned earlier in this conversation, it's the most successful people are the ones who oftentimes, you know, commit suicide. And it's like, well, dang, what is that about? You know, because they thought that everything, they thought their entire identity, their entire character was going to be built upon how much money they could make. And once they made the money, they realized that they were still so empty on the inside because the things on the inside, they never taken the time out to deal with.
Amen. Amen. So we are really about out of time here, and this conversation has been great. And y'all brought out some great points on, you know, just greatness and the traits that you need. And I hope that the audience, I know that they got something from it. I hope also that as you have watched this, if you're watching the replay, that you are really thinking about what is it? Because money isn't it. It isn't it. And so we have to go inside. It starts from the inside to the outside. And that's how we move from the outside to the in. And that's not how it works. Most of us that are working from the outside in, something's jacked up, something's not right. And you're wondering, why can't I get to this? Because you haven't gone in yet. You got to go in to get it out. To get out the greatness, to step into the greatness. So I, again, invite you all to sit at the table of greatness. We've had 3 days of conversation about greatness, denying your greatness, the barriers to greatness, and now the traits that you need. And if you think about what's inside of you, you will really be able to find that greatness. But you need to sit at this table so that you can really write this thing out and build your plan, your greatness plan, so it can go, you can go into 2021 and beyond and really walk in the greatness that you were purposed for. As I promised you, you all will be getting a workbook. You'll be able to answer the questions. It'll be stuff about all 3 nights so that you can really step into your greatness and delve into it. Don't just stop with the workbook. Go ahead and get your ticket as well. And I put in the comments on my link the address, the link for signing up for the workbook. If you have not signed up, you can sign up for that because you want to get that as well. So you can start preparing and be ready when you come to the table of greatness. That'll be a great tool for you as well. You want to grab all that you can grab. You want to be hungry. You want to be like a lion, and you want to be roaring, you want to roar and get what it is you need to get. People need to hear you. People need to see you. You got to show up for yourself and your own greatness. So I want to say thank you all for everybody that's come. Some people been on here 3 nights. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you to all my super friends that have joined to talk about the greatness. Your greatness is showing up, and you've shown out, and you making a difference in the world. So thank y'all for what y'all do. And thank you all tonight for coming on. I appreciate everybody. I love y'all. And we'll say good night. Thank y'all. Thank y'all. Every day and in every way, make sure you keep it next level and don't miss out on this table of greatness. Thank you to Dylan. He has provided the StreamYard. He has been here all 3 nights. That's my man. He just takes care of things, and he's the go-to person. If you looking to get you a StreamYard and do different things, he is the person that you need to go to. So yes, yes, yes. Thank y'all so much, and have a wonderful evening.